I'm spending 150% more money on Facebook ads this year at a better return on ad spend than we had last year. This episode of Tactical and Practical is going to break down exactly how I do it. But first, this episode is sponsored by IntelliGems and Postscript. You don't need a CRO agency anymore. You just need an IntelliGems account. I had no prior CRO experience before I became an IntelliGems customer like a year and a half ago. And in that time, we've massively increased total site sessions, conversion rate, AOV, revenue per session, and ultimately our top and bottom line. So go to intelligems.io and let them know the Tactical and Practical podcast sent you. Postscript is our second sponsor and the only SMS platform I trust. I've been a paying customer for like 3 or 4 years now. And lately, we've been testing some new tools from them that are really exciting called Infinity Split Testing. It works on our flows and campaigns, and it's able to test more variations of copy and messaging and call to actions than we ever could come up with or execute on our own. And those tests are already producing incremental revenue. We're also about to onboard with their new pop-up tool, so that should be exciting. So go to postscript.io and let them know you heard about them on the Tactical and Practical podcast. All right, before I get into exactly how we're spending almost 2.5 times more money on Facebook ads this year at better performance, let me give you a couple pieces of context about who I am and what I do so you can fully frame what's going on here. First, unlike a lot of the talking heads on here, I am a full-time employee of Original Grain Watch Company where I serve as the VP of marketing. And besides my couple podcast sponsors, I don't make money from being a D2C influencer. I make all of my money from selling watches. So you're not going to see me selling a course at the end of this podcast. You won't see me cold DMing you to sell my media buying services. In fact, I don't want to run your Facebook account. I'm just a guy that's pretty good at his job, and I'm sharing what has got me to where I'm at in life. So because of all that, I don't really care what you do with the information I share in this podcast. I don't care if you think I'm wrong. I don't care if you only take a couple nuggets of information and ignore the rest. That's fine. I don't have an angle. I don't have a funnel to fill with leads. I just want to share what's worked for us. So without further delay, here's what I've done with our Facebook ad account this year to grow our top and bottom line like crazy. First, our account structure. It's very simple. We have 3 campaigns, and really we only have one of them. One of them gets 90% of the spend over the year. But let's talk about the other 2 first. The first is a DPA campaign, or dynamic product ad campaign. Pretty straightforward. We've uploaded creative matched with our top selling products. We spend a small amount of our budget on this DPA campaign. The next campaign is an Advantage Plus campaign. And it's titled Gifting/Promo Messaging. Let me say that the only reason this campaign is an Advantage Plus campaign is because I built it 2 years ago, like right when A Plus campaigns came out. It seemed to work well for us. The next campaign is an Advantage Plus campaign, and it's titled Gifting/Promo Messaging. And let me say, the only reason why this campaign is an Advantage Plus campaign is because I built it 2 years ago when I was really excited about A Plus campaigns. They had recently come out, and they were hot on the scene, and I was hearing good stuff about it. So I built this campaign. It's worked pretty well for us, so I haven't really looked back. I haven't really thought about changing it or building a new one because it's just worked time and time again. For most of the year, like I said, it takes up a tiny percentage of spend. And then around Valentine's Day, Father's Day, and Christmas, when we have a lot of gifting messaging and gifting ads going out, it might get up to like 30% of our daily Facebook spend. The only ads in this campaign are filled with imagery and messaging created specifically for gift buyers and for our brand, specifically for female gift buyers that are buying a watch, most commonly for their husband or their dad or their boyfriend or their brother. The most important thing about this campaign is that it is the only place in our ad account where you're going to find any discount or sale messaging. And that helps us out during the holiday period. It makes it easy to scale it up, but it helps us tremendously after the holiday is over because we don't have to rebuild our ad account from scratch. So when I get to December 26th this year and our Christmas sale is over, I'm not rebuilding our ad account. I don't have to go launch 100 new creatives to make sure January doesn't suck. I just turn that campaign down, or I turn that campaign off. The rest of our budget, which is spent on our main CBO campaign, which I'll get to in a minute, I shouldn't even really have to cut that budget. Maybe a little bit, depending on, demand that time of year, but I don't have to panic and turn off all our ads. I don't have to launch a ton of new ones. Our gifting and discount messaging is all isolated in this one campaign, so it's easy to throttle it up and throttle it back down once the sale is over. Now, let's talk about that main campaign, our money maker, the one that takes up 90% of spend for most of the year. This is our master CBO campaign. It's lowest cost, max volume, whatever, no cost controls, no bid caps, no cost caps, no target ROAS. I don't believe in any of that. If you want to know why, you can go listen to my last episode on why I run Facebook ads. But yeah, max volume, just be a megaphone. That's all I want this to be. The only targeting parameters we use on the ad sets under this CBO campaign are Americans and sometimes Australians. But for Americans, we go over the age of 21 because a lot of our watches are made from like a reclaimed whiskey barrel wood. And if you mention words like whiskey in an ad targeted to someone who's under 21, Facebook does not like you. So Americans over the age of 21 is our only targeting. Super broad, even though our products are relatively niche. I like to say like we're kind of a niche of a niche. I trust Facebook to go find people that are positively interacting with campaigns when I launch them. And for us, I also don't believe in doing any interest because a lot of the times it is not the end user who's buying from us. A lot of times it's the guy's wife or mother or daughter who's buying the gift for them. And those interests of those women are much different for the men. So I don't feel the need to put any targeting. Let's go broad. Let's let Facebook figure it out. Now, there are a couple areas where I don't let Facebook figure it out. First, I only send traffic to our website, not to Facebook shops. We've gotten really, really good at CRO in the last year. And I believe our website is a much better place to buy watches from us. And I can prove it because we used to run traffic to Facebook shops and the revenue per session on our website was double what it is on Facebook shops. I only really recommend using shops to any brand that's like single SKU or like, have one or two or three hero products. But for anyone that's got a deep catalog, for anyone that has a solid CRO strategy, I would encourage you, go check revenue per session from your website to your shops, see which one's better, and then send all the traffic there. I also don't let Facebook have total control of the placements. I choose manual placements, and I unselect audience network and messenger placements so that the only ones that are active are Facebook and Instagram. I think those are the most valuable. And again, like that's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but it's what I've been doing for the last year, and it's going really well. So that's that main CBO campaign. Underneath that campaign are ad sets that represent each of our major collections: whiskey barrels, guitar tone wood, military ammo crate, exotic hardwood, all the different, sorry, that Rebels hit me hard this morning. All the different major collections that represent our top selling products. Now, this is a CBO campaign, so it's campaign budget optimization, but you can still set minimum and maximum spend limits on each ad set. I actually didn't know this until like a year ago. I don't know if it was available before then or not, but pretty cool tool that lets you run CBO campaigns, which I've split tested and traditionally perform way better than ABO campaigns, but you still get to have some control over the ad set spend level. I typically set minimums on each ad set. Those minimums typically add up to like 70% of the total campaign budget, and then Facebook can decide where to spend that extra 30%. There's only a couple of scenarios where I set spend limit maximums. It's usually like when we're close to selling out of a product or collection, I'll put a maximum spend limit on that ad set. Or when Facebook tends to think that campaign is doing a lot better than it actually is, or that ad set. I'm sorry. So if it's an ad set, let's say it's taken 10 grand in spend over the last week, and I look at like, hey, we've only sold 15 grand worth of that product, even though the Facebook metrics look strong, the end result does not look strong. So I'll limit it then. But most commonly, I only set minimums on each ad set. Each ad set has a variety of evergreen ads in them. Keyword there being evergreen. Like I mentioned before, I don't want to clog up this campaign with any messaging that I can't run forever. This is a campaign that's designed to be our workhorse, make all our money, get the word out. So this is an evergreen campaign, and only evergreen ads go into it. Most commonly for all of these ads, they'll send traffic to the landing page that highlights that collection and shows off the most popular watchers in order. Our landing pages are simple, but they're really, really effective. We have great imagery, headlines, and copy at the top of them. And then they pretty much just look like a collection page from there. If you click on any one of our ads, you'll see what I'm talking about. But our LPs perform much better than sending people straight to product pages for us or to the homepage, although the homepage is doing good with ad traffic lately, so I'm keeping an eye on that. But most commonly, these are going to a landing page. When I create each one of these ads, I turn off all the creative enhancements. I don't trust them. I don't like them, so I don't turn them on. That's it. That's our account structure. Nothing revolutionary. It's simple, but it's been working very well. And what I like most about it, it's very easy to manage. If you guys haven't figured it out, I guess I haven't said this yet. Probably should have started the pod off with this. We used to pay a media buying agency like $20 or $25K a month, an insane amount of money to run a more complex system. I fired them 3 years ago, and I've been running it myself. And it's much simpler now, and it's going well. And now we get to spend all that extra money on ads themselves rather than an expensive agency retainer. So that's what's worked for us. That's how I've gotten to this kind of simple, consolidated structure. And now I'll walk you through my simple and consolidated weekly workflow. Every Monday, we track something called Real ROAS on each of our major collections. I did a whole podcast episode on Real ROAS, and it's not sponsored by an attribution tool, so you can go check that out. But to summarize, it's basically a blended ROAS by SKU or by collection. So on Monday, I'll look at ad spend to our whiskey collection and compare it to total Shopify revenue from that collection. I'll use that ratio to judge whether our ads are working or not. If that number is good, I don't touch the whiskey ad set that week. I won't turn anything off. I won't launch a new creative. I might increase budget depending on inventory and depending on the time of year, but that's it. If we are selling, 2.5 or 3 or 4 times more than we're advertising, then that's a win. I let it ride. Now, if that real ROAS number is lower than I'd like it to be, I'll dig deeper. I'll look at which ad has gotten the most spend. This year, the most common scenario is that there's been one ad that takes a huge chunk of the budget. When that happens, if performance is bad, I'll just turn that ad off, and usually performance improves. Then I will launch new creative into that ad set. I'll also tell my creative team, like, hey, next week I want more new creative for this collection or this product, especially to replace that one ad that was taking all the spend. Even though that ad wasn't performing great, that's still probably promoting a product that we need to get out there. We have a lot of inventory of, so I want to make sure our creative team stays on top of producing what we need. On any given week, I'll launch between 3 ads on the low end and like 12 ads on the high end. Most commonly throughout the year, I think I launch 5 ads a week. That goes against a lot of what people are preaching right now. People are saying like mass creative testing is what you need. But the only people I've seen promoting that sell content creation services. So take that for what it's worth. I'm here telling you that I don't have anything to sell you besides watches. And I don't think you need to test more than 10 ads a week. Like Unless you're spending more than 30 million a year, I don't think you need a crazy amount of ads. I think 10 good ads a week can get you really, really far. So that's my take on that. The only exceptions to when I launch more ads than that are as we ramp up towards big sale periods for us, like Father's Day and Christmas. So this time of year, I'm recording this on November 6th. Thank God the election's over. CPMs are down already. Let's go. I'm fired up. So like a week ago, before we launched our holiday offer, I uploaded like 50 ads to that Advantage Plus campaign that all talk about gifting, that all show Christmas imagery because I want to get people in the holiday mood early. So that's like the biggest batch of creative I'll do, is when we ramp up for a big holiday. I wasn't running any Christmas ads before this, obviously. So I launched like 50 at a time. To be honest, I probably could get away with 20. But, you know, this time of year, no reason not to go a little overboard. Now, it's super important to note that nowhere in this process am I looking at an individual ad's ROAS or CAC or click-through rate or cost per click or any micro metric attributed to each ad. I define a winning ad as an ad that spends a lot of money while real ROAS stays strong, while we sell a lot of the watch it's promoting. That's it. That's how I define a winning ad. This is where a bunch of agency owners and full-time freelancers are going to say I'm a fucking idiot, and I get it. I have a mullet, and I live on a farm, and I have the simplest method for running Facebook ads that you've ever seen. But I think it's because it's so simple that me and my team have been able to focus all of our effort into building great products, creating dope content, doing customer research, and working on CRO, and all the other things that make our marketing department and our company great. And it's this simple methodology that's allowed us to grow top and bottom line very fast this year and last year and the year before that, and really since I've been here. And here's the deal. There are systems that are more complicated than mine. They need to be more complicated than mine to justify their retainers. You would never pay me $20,000 a month to run your ads with my system because it's simple as shit and it takes me like 5 hours a week. In fact, I've taught some other brands how to do it my way. I've walked them through it. They've fired their agencies, and I've taught their junior level employees how to do this, and their businesses have exploded. So you're right. Your system's more complicated and more robust and more thorough, and it's more technically sound than mine, and that's great for you. If it's working, keep doing it. I don't give a shit. But for me and my marketing department, I haven't seen a shred of evidence that all that extra work produces an incremental amount of revenue that's worth the extra investment of time, resources, and money, and the opportunity cost of spending your time focused on Facebook rather than somewhere else in your business. So that's my account structure and normal weekly workflow for running an 8-figure a year Facebook ad account. But if you listen to my last episode where I explained why I run my Facebook ads, then you'll know I don't think this how matters as much. I don't think my account structure or our creative testing cadence is the reason why we're having our biggest and best year yet while most e-com stores are struggling this year. That's not the reason we're successful. The reason this is working for us is because we have fantastic products, a thorough understanding of who our customers are and what they value and what they want to feel when they buy a watch from us. And it's only because those foundations are so solid that amplifying our business through Facebook ads is working so well. Once you have those foundations, then you can use this simple system that's directly tied to overall business results to grow your top and bottom line. Now, I'm trying to keep this under 20 minutes, so if there's anything you want to know more about how I run Facebook ads, how I make decisions, how I would, do anything else that I missed here, please tweet at me, DM me. I'm planning on doing an episode in a couple weeks answering a ton of your specific questions. So hit me up at Nate Legos on Twitter, and I'll be sure to get all those answered. Thanks for listening to Tactical and Practical. The moon landing was fake. I'll see you next time.